You ever have one of those mornings where the cold feels almost personal, like the land itself is waking up just to remind you who's in charge? That's how it was out on my family's ranch. Montana sharp air so crisp your breath turned to smoke before it even left your lips, boots sticking just a little to the frost-bitten dirt. I was on the South Ridge thermos in one hand, binoculars in the other, just taking in the same rolling hayfields and ponderosa pines my granddad used to watch over back before half the country had electricity. There was a coyote eyeing me from the tree line, me and him. We had a silent agreement. Keep to yours, I'll keep to mine. You have to understand this land isn't just acres and fences, it's history. Its debts paid with sweat-broken knuckles, even gunpowder now and then. My grandfather fenced the north edge by hand after coming back from France in 1919. My father, he buried two old cattle dogs under the cottonwood out by the west gate. Me, I put up drones, solar cameras, different times, but the same old mindset, protect what's yours because no one else will. That's why the second I spotted those brand new concrete posts along the southern fence, I knew something was wrong. Clean white, stamped with the Three Canyons Vista HOA logo. I mean, right there in my dirt. 6 of them lined up like they belonged with signs. Private access, HOA, residents only. Right smack on my property. I didn't hesitate. Drove down and yanked the first one out of the ground. Frost and concrete dust be damned. Took photos of the rest, stormed back to the house, and dug out every deed survey and scrap of legal paper I owned. All of it said the same thing: this land is mine. Next day, she came rolling up in a black SUV, windows tinted like she was auditioning for some low-rent spy movie. Out steps Karen Sloan, president of the HOA, coat too expensive for Montana, smile too practiced for real life. She handed me a 30-page packet, like it was my eviction notice from my own past. There's been a zoning revision, she said, voice smooth as a snake. Part of your land's now considered a community buffer zone. I laughed. Told her this land had been in my family since before her HOA existed, and she was trespassing. She didn't even blink. According to the county, your records are outdated. We're here to reintegrate your property into a shared framework for the benefit of everyone. She even told me I had 48 hours to vacate my own barn in the hot. Otherwise, enforcement would escalate. She left with her heels crunching in the gravel, not a glance back. That night I sat at the kitchen table, packet unopened. My wife pouring coffee and my son Jake giving nervous looks at the window like he knew trouble was coming too. And it was. 2 mornings later, I wake to the buzz of a generator down by the gulch. ATV ride gets me to a pop-up tent with 2 guys in reflective vests, clipboards, and a solar drone pad blinking away like they were surveying for a moon landing. The drone circled my hay barn like it was casing the joint. They handed me an HOA compliance coordinator badge and claimed they were conducting an environmental audit for the surrounding community zone. I told them flat out, "You're on my land," he shoots back. "Actually, sir, this area is under legal dispute pending clarification from the county." I pointed to the ridge and said, "That's my edge and that barn's older than your HOA." Told them they had 10 minutes before I called every deputy in the county. They left slow as molasses, snapping pictures of my land on the way out. That afternoon, my mailbox was crammed with HOA brochures, shiny images of community centers and trails mapped over my pasture. A formal letter attached, planned integration phase 1. By sunset, Facebook groups were alive with claims about a stubborn landholder refusing to allow public resources. They even posted a drone shot of my barn, labeled it Unauthorized Agricultural Structure Future, HOA Commons. My blood boiled so hard I had to shut the computer down. 2 days later, Karen returns clipboard in hand, this time with 2 private security guys who looked like they played too much paintball. She says they're inspecting the disputed zone. I told them one step closer, and they'd find out the difference between an electric fence and a rancher's temper. She gets cold, says my resistance is officially documented as obstruction, and if anything happens, I'll be liable. You threatening me, I ask. She lights up. No, Mr. Rice, just informing you. That's when I realized she wanted a confrontation. What she didn't see was Jake hiding by the porch, filming everything on his phone. That night we're watching the footage when Jake gets an email. If your dad doesn't quit, maybe someone else has to. No subject line, just that. He turned pale. I added a printed copy to the lockbox where I keep my deed and my discharge papers, the proof I served my country to protect families from threats. This wasn't about land anymore, it was personal. I smelled smoke before I saw it. 3 a.m. barn camera alarm. I was halfway in my Boots phone still loading when I saw the feed flames licking up the old feed shed, and inside Buck, my father's last saddle horse, too old to ride but too proud to put down. Fire extinguisher in one hand, sprinting like hell, Jake already fumbling with a frozen hose. We got Buck out soot-streaked and wild-eyed but alive. Fire was set on purpose, can of starter fluid at the wall. No camera footage, someone knew the blind spot. I didn't call the sheriff. Not yet. I sat in the dirt soot in my beard, fists clenched, Jake silent beside me. We both knew this was war. I spent the next day on the stone ridge where my grandfather's lookout stood, letting the wind cut right through me. I broke, not in tears, just that deep crack where anger and grief spill out. When I came back, I called our lawyer, Stanley Rudd. Crusty old bulldog neck like a tree stump, probably scared more county clerks than a tornado. He went through every document, even a telegram from 1903. Jake handed him a flash drive, said he'd found a directory of internal HOA emails, their network wide open. What he found made my skin crawl. Karen and some Denver developer named Velman scheming for over a year to label my land underutilized and acquire it in phases. Attached was a playbook literally called Operational Guidelines for Hostile Community Acquisition. Karen had done this before, a decade earlier in Arizona, forced out an elderly couple with the same exact tactics. No charges, no consequences, just bulldozers and condos. This had to end, and not just for me. The next dawn, the silence was thick charged. Down by the old ranch road, 3 vehicles lined up, black SUV, silver pickup, and God help me, a golf cart with an HOA flag. Karen steps out like she owns the sky, backed by private security and body armor. One has his hand a little too close to his holster. I stood by the barn, my dog Boone at my heel, heart pounding but not backing down. Karen says, "You've been warned, Mr. Rice. This structure is scheduled for reclamation. I told her if she didn't get off my land, she'd leave in the back of a cruiser." She snaps, "You don't seem to understand. This isn't your jurisdiction." Then, reaching in her bag, out comes a pistol pointed right at me. "You will leave this land now," she hissed. I didn't wait. Old Marine instincts kicked in. One lunge twisted her wrist gun, hit the dirt, shoved her down, coat torn. Her security froze. Jake's voice rang out, "I got the whole thing on video." Karen shrieked about lawsuits' rights, but it was panic, not power. Sheriff's deputies arrived 10 minutes later. Karen tried to spin it, called me aggressive. I just handed over the phone. Deputy watched the video, then looked at Karen. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for brandishing a firearm, criminal trespass, assault with a deadly weapon." She couldn't believe it. The deputies cuffed her and drove her away, still screaming about bylaws like she was the queen of some HOA cult. Back home, Stanley was already on the phone with the DA. Jake started pulling up more files, emails, contracts, even a PowerPoint labeled Acquisition Strategy Phase 1 Rice Parcel. In the Velman folder, a proposed lot map, my barn marked Future Dog Park. But the real knockout was the Arizona evidence, Karen's old case, the perjury, her fingerprints on every shady deal. "This isn't just a land dispute," Stanley said. "It's racketeering." By sunrise, it was front-page news. HOA president arrested, old schemes uncovered, county officially stating my ranch was never ever under HOA control. Karen's little empire crumbled overnight. The courthouse was packed, reporters, ranchers, families, even folks from 2 counties overall wanting to see justice. Inside, Stanley opened the case like a hunter showing his trophies. Video evidence, emails, a mural of corruption. Jake took the stand, explained exactly how he found the digital trail. When the defense tried to claim illegal intrusion, Stanley told the judge, "When a kid grabs the only flashlight that shows the truth, you thank him." Jury watched Karen on tape, plotting, bragging, lying. It was over before it started. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Karen got 17 years, 3 board members got hard time, Velman got indicted. The judge awarded us damages over $500,000. But the best part was walking out to that Montana winter sun. Jake beside me, my wife's hand in mine, cameras flashing, knowing justice is still alive if you stand your ground. I just looked at the cameras and said, if you think paperwork makes you king out here, come see me. I've got better lawyers. A month later, the snow came thick and quiet. The barn got a new steel roof. Buck got a warm stall, and the fence posts out back now have steel signs that read, "Private property, ask Karen." Folks come by just to see them, some even bring lunch. Jake's online channel started blowing up, exposing HOA scams, running seminars, helping other ranchers fight back. I wake up every morning, pour my coffee, watch the land breathe again. And when a stranger pulls up, asks if this is the place from the Karen trial, I just smile and say, yeah, we won. So let's hear it. Was I right to fight, or was I just one more stubborn old-timer? Drop your thoughts below, because justice is worth talking about, and these battles are just getting started.